Georgia. Andrew College and Georgia. Andrew College and USC Salkehatchie in this one. The opening game saw Albany Tech knock off Southern Union by a final 81-61. And Andrew College jumping out to the early lead in this one. USC Salkehatchie with Heaven Green, Gina Hall, Jatea Brown, Ella Tevid, and Jalen Shaw on the floor. Meanwhile, Andrew College countering with Brainia Baker, Jayla Hutchison, Tierra Spells, Tashay Gay, and Zora Hill. 3 off the rim. Rebound belonging to Hutchinson. Given down low, turnaround not there for Hill. USC Salkehatchie, limited depth. There is one player on the sidelines, and that is it. So obviously, if you are the Indians, you would prefer not to get into foul trouble. As got a jump on him, the possession arrow will send us to the other end of the floor. Not a round-robin event. No trophy to be handed out, no first, second, or third. But some great basketball right after Thanksgiving as that is dribbled out of bounds by Hutchinson. And it's an event with 3 Georgia teams and 3 non-Georgia teams. Your Georgia teams, Andrew College, Albany Tech, South Georgia Tech. Your non-Georgia teams, USC Salkehatchie, Cape Fear, and Southern Union. Shaw back top side to Brown. That's dropped in by Shaw. And USC Salkehatchie taking the lead 3-2. Hill taking it to the other end of the floor. And unable to hang on to the pass was Tashay Gay. And Gay coming out of the game. Tiana Snowden checking in. Andrew College added football this year. And I mentioned football because at halftime we've got the JUCO Rush, which is all about junior college football. That's your halftime feature. Lean in one-hander. There is the offensive. It'll be charged to Baker. And it'll be USC ball. USC Salkehatchie out of South Carolina. And I think it is the fact that they had a limited roster that was going to get a little smaller on Sunday that wound up changing the schedule. Originally, there were 3 games Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now 3 games Friday, Saturday, and 2 on Sunday. Jatea Brown adding 1 to the lead at the stripe. Goes 1 of 2, rebounded by Spells. Snowden able to get it over to Baker. Baker drives into the paint and double dribble. And it'll be USC Salkehatchie's ball. Well, I wonder if any of the teams from out of town are trying out the Windsor here in Americus. You know, the haunted Windsor. Stolen away by Snowden. In and out. Able to get it back. Flips to the other side of the paint. And that is missed by Baker. And according to, whoever monitors or determines these things, it is officially haunted. Dakota Santos coming into the game. Originally, too, Andrew College was supposed to be the home team in this one. That is dropped in from long range by Hall. But apparently something to do with jerseys and numbers. And as a result, the home team is USC Salkehatchie. And Andrew College on the scoreboard, your visitors. Tipped away, able to get it back is Tevitt. Santos off the glass and rim. It is retrieved by Spells. Snowden with it. And she's tripped up on the way down. That'll be charged to Gina Hall, unintentional foul. Or if it was, she covered it up well, trying to help up Snowden. It was unintentional. Legs got a little tangled. Spells coming out of the game into the contest is Harper for Andrew College. Baker giving to Harper, and Harper, who just entered the game, gets two. Tipped into the corner, and stepping out with it is Shaw. So it'll be Andrew College ball. Snowden for three. In and out. Hill's got the rebound, couldn't get the putback. Santos coming down with a board. Into the paint, nice pass. Brown not able to hit it, but what a pass from Tevitt. And we've hit the media timeout. First one of the game. 3-point Indian lead over the Fighting Tigers at the first mandatory break. Hey, a reminder, if you have not, please do subscribe to our YouTube channel. You are watching on YouTube. Even if you're watching on the website, you're watching on YouTube, so there should be a subscribe button nearby. Gives you access to everything we do. Games, interviews, shows. That's a long two from Harper. Fed down to Santos, back to Green for three. Short on the shot. Trista Bennett now in the game. Firing it down low to Snowden. Bennett's got it back, puts up the three ball, trying to bank it. Rebound belonging to Hall. Santos down low. That is a long two, not quite there for Hall. Bennett with the board. In a 1-point game at the 3:44 mark. Leaning in, Snowden with a miss. The other number one, Gina Hall with a board. Hands it over to Green. Green back into the corner. Santos nibbled the rim. Bennett, second rebound. Hands it over to Snowden. Back into the paint to Bennett. Stolen away by Hall. Green across the mid part of the floor. 3 to play in the quarter. Santos back into the corner to Hall. That is Brown with it. Air ball on the three try from Hall. And there is a timeout on the floor asked for by USC Salkehatchie. 2:45 to go. Quarter number one.
Just about all Wayne Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it.
Here in the hangar, enjoying their basketball here at Thanksgiving. As we return to play, coming out of the timeout. Green driving it down low, trying to bank it off the rim. Rebounded by Harper, given over to Bennett. Nearly taken away by Brown. This time it is Brown taking away. Goes to the other end of the floor, doesn't have the numbers. Like the odds, though, missed the shot. Rebounded by Snowden. Taking it baseline, and Andrew Collins grabbing the 1-point lead. So the lead flipping back over to the other side of the floor. Teeman down to Green, and Green took one too many steps. Santos coming back into the ball game for USC. Gay back in for Andrew, also returning is Hutchinson. And entering the game for the first time, Kaylee Hamrick. That'll go out of bounds after the Santos looked to be steal. but goes out of bounds off Santos, and Andrew College will still have possession. 90 seconds remaining in quarter number 1. Bennett for 3, short. Rebounded by Hall, given to Green. Teeman trying to get it to Green. Bennett with a steal. To the other end of the floor, off the glass and rim, no good but a foul. And Hutchinson will shoot. One more game to go before we wrap up our classic play on this Saturday. Make that Friday. And that will be South Georgia Tech and Cape Fear. Hutchinson, the freshman from nearby Cuthbert. Outside of South Georgia Tech. Made the shortest drive to get here. Then I would say Albany Tech, Southern U, USC, Salkehatchie, Cape Fear. Shortest to longest drive. Got a jump ball there on the foul line. And the possession error will have us going to the Cuthbert end of the floor. Put in play from the baseline by Harper. In play to Hamrick. From just inside the paint. Gay with a miss. Back into the corner, that is Cedriana Evans. Put back no good from Gay, but there is a whistle and foul. And Tashay Gay shooting a couple of free throws. With about a half minute to go in the first. The lead climbs to 3 for Andrew College. Santos with it, top side. Brings it down low, shoots over Harper. Put back from Hall, hit the bracket that holds up the goalpost, which is considered out of play. In play to Evans. Off the rim for Hamrick on the 3 try that ends the quarter. So 10 minutes in. Andrew College up by 3. Second quarter action gets underway at 3-point Andrew College lead after 1. And Green walks with it. Andrew College basketball. We're going to talk about an athletic program that has grown over the years. Andrew College already had baseball, softball, basketball, I believe some volleyball, if I'm not mistaken. Adding football this year, too. And had a pretty good football year, especially for their first ever. Stepping out of bounds with it is Evans. Into a USC Salkehatchie ball. One more game to go, Cape Fear and South Georgia Tech. Tomorrow we start the basketball all over at 3 o'clock. Andrew College and Southern Union. Albany Tech and Cape Fear at 5. And I just noticed this may have been printed prior to the change. So let me look at an email to reference tomorrow versus the program here because of the change involving USC Salkehatchie. Well, I'm still looking. Here we are. Tomorrow, Andrew College, Cape Fear at 3. USC Salkehatchie, Albany Tech at 5. Southern Union and South Georgia Tech at 7 o'clock. And then your Sunday basketball, Andrew College, Southern Union, Albany Tech, Cape Fear. Just 2 instead of 3 games. Tipped into the corner, stolen away by Hall. Races to the other end of the floor, trying to lay it up and in, got knocked down, and will have a chance to knock down a couple from the stripe. Plenty of other sports going on today. We'll try to get those scores to you. I do know that Colorado, the number 25 ranked team in the country, knocked off Oklahoma State 52-zip today. Last I checked, Chiefs had a 1-touchdown lead over the Raiders. Of course, that was in the first half, and by now that game may be done. Boise State beat somebody. I'm trying to do this off the top of the head. That's why it's really sporadic and data flawed. Shaw putting it on the floor, and she walked. All right, I pulled up the ESPN app so I can be more accurate. Boise State 34-18 over Oregon State. Meanwhile, 4 seconds left to play in the first half. The Egg Bowl. Yeah, I think it's Jackson, Mississippi. Ole Miss with a 17-14 lead over Mississippi State. Multiple opportunities, multiple misses. And eventually a trip to the stripe. Hill headed there in an make that a 14-8 game. Well, Chiefs still by a touchdown, 16-10 over the Raiders with 5 seconds to play in the third. Couple of NBA finals. Hawks beat the Cavaliers 117-101. Knicks over the Hornets 99-98. Grizzlies with 2:59 to play in the first, leading the Pelicans 30-23. Got a timeout on the floor. It is Andrew College by 7 at the 7:21 mark in the second. Enjoying their day after Thanksgiving here at the hangar, Americus, Georgia. Watching a little basketball in a 15-8 contest. Santos with it out front. For the corner, Tevin. And that's a little bit behind Shaw, but able to retrieve in the corner. Brown put up the shot desperately, but it's a shot clock violation. And Andrew College with the basketball. Didn't the Fighting Tigers win the baseball GCAA crown this past year? No, that was 2 years ago, wasn't it? Last year, Georgia Highlands, 2 years ago. They won the title. No strangers to quality play. Stolen away by Andrew College. Snowden's got it. Sends it over to Baker, and Baker lays it up and in. Brown leaning in, left the ball on the floor, picked up and retrieved by Tevin. And there was a foul called on Santos. Green into the game, out and will go Tevin. Put in play by Spells to Snowden. Hill with a drive, and you got a jump ball between she and Shaw. And the possession arrow pointing to the other end of the floor. That's where we will head. Indians with round ball in tow. Green in the timeline, goes over to Brown. Brown lost it. Snowden's got it, pulls it off the hip. Goes to Baker out front. It will go to Spells, and Spells for three. And there was a push on the baseline. Baker did it. USC had a 7-2 lead. And since then, of the 19 points that have scored, 18 have belonged to Andrew College. Brown trying to make it a 10-point game. Off the rim, rebounded by Snowden. Tipped out of bounds by Hall, and it stays Andrew College basketball. Tucker to put it in play. Leaning in is Hill for two. Teeman with it in the corner. Puts up the jumper from just outside of the paint. Tipped away. Baker almost got a hand on it, then eventually it goes out of bounds. And apparently got Snowden on the way out. And it'll be USC ball. Jemiah Evans coming in. Bennett coming in for the Tigers. Hill will go out. And Spells will go out. Now Tucker coming out. And Anaya Brown coming in. There are a lot of Fighting Tigers playing basketball today, and I think every one of them has been on the floor already. Brown lost it trying to put it up. There was a blocking foul. Charge to Evans. Well, it must be the classic of the common names. We've had Evans in both games thus far. We have had Brown in both games thus far. And it is Brown on the line shooting. We have had Tuckers in both games thus far. For trip to the line by Brown. Loose ball, Green able to get it. Goes over to Hall. Team it to Green. Brings it top side, looking for a little help. Finds it in the form of Brown. That is Shaw for three, off the rim. Snagged by Brown. And that, by the way, the Fighting Tiger Brown. There is a Tiger Brown and an Indian Brown. Nearly stolen away by T, but instead taken to the glass by Evans. Feeds to Bennett. Bennett with a miss. Put back not there. Loose ball. It's on the floor. And now you've got a jump ball, which will take us to the media timeout. I would think we got a dead ball inside 5, but the officials aren't stopping play. So maybe we don't take every media timeout. Or maybe that was just a media timeout missed, forgotten. Hall got it, then started the other way and stepped out of bounds. So the Tigers to put it in play, Bennett to do the honors. Into the paint. And there was a blocking foul on Brown. Tashay Gay going to the stripe. Most shots good from Gay. Teeman with it near the timeline, opposite side of the floor. Feeds it over to Green. Green taking it baseline. Off the rim, rebounded by Hamrick. Goes over to Bennett. Hamrick, 3-ball into the cylinder. Little bump, no whistle. Missed shot by Green. Evans handing it over to Bennett. Bennett, contact on the other end of the floor, and that will be a blocking foul. Charge to Teeman. I mentioned coming up at halftime, it is the JUCO Rush, which is a 30-minute show. And we're going to stick into a 15-minute halftime. And you're probably going, how do you do that? We squeeze it. Okay, no. We'll cut out some stuff, which means you're going to want to follow us on YouTube and then watch the show in its entirety. But you get the edited version at halftime coming up 2 basketball minutes away. Shaw into the corner. Brown for 3. Off the rim. Hall with the rebound. Feeds it to Teeman. Teeman no good with 2. Bennett with the board. And she will throw that one out of bounds. Trying to get it into the corner to Gay. Teeman feeding to Brown. And then it'll go out of bounds off Brown. Brown defending too. Anaya Brown, the defender for Andrew College. Jataya Brown for USC Salkehatchie. In play to Bennett. That'll go out of bounds, trying to put it in the corner. Bennett throws it out. 65 seconds remaining in half number 1. Hall with the pull-up, not there. Hamrick with a rebound. Teeman reaching in. And you got a jump ball, and the possession arrow keeps it on this end of the floor. Green to put it in play. In play to Teeman. And there is an offensive. That'll be charged to Brown. So Brown knocked down Brown, and Brown charged with a foul. In play to Hamrick. Out of bounds off Shaw. Bennett putting it in play from the baseline. Nice feed to Brown for an easy 2. Into the corner to Brown. Out of that corner comes Brown. Gives it over to Hall. Hall off the rim for 3. Rebounded by Gay. And Gay will put it up from just inside the stripe. Green with a board. Trying to get it to Teeman. Throws behind Teeman. Nearly taken away by Hall. A little scrum there on the floor. Jump ball on the possession arrow will keep us headed to the other end. In play to Bennett. And that'll do it for the stanza. And for the half. We are halfway there as far as this one is concerned. And it's Andrew College with a big halftime lead. Well, we promised you an edited version of the JUCO Rush, this week's football talk show on junior college football. It is next.
And welcome into the JUCO Rush. I'm Mike Fraser from downtown Chicago. He's Robert Williamson, Florella, Alabama. Robert, good evening.
Good evening, Mike. How is it in Chicago?
It's good, man. The NJCAA football poll, the playoff poll came out today, and man, it is now set. Well, we knew who the 4 teams were, Robert. It was just a matter of who was going to sit in the 2 slot, who was going to sit in the 3 slot.
Do you want to see those polls? Are you really interested in what happened? You know, who's 1 through 4, who's 1 through 15?
Been waiting to get to this moment since August.
All right, let's do it then. There you go.
Georgia Military moves up to the 2 slot. Hutch moves to 3. Robert, that's a huge difference just from a weather pattern standpoint. Think about it. If you're Hutch, you're playing that game in December. It's on a good day. If you catch the weather right, it's 30 degrees with the wind out of the north at 15. Now you go down to Milledgeville, Georgia. It's going to be 65 degrees and partly cloudy.
It is definitely going to be different. Hey, can I do a little bit of this? Did you notice that those 4 teams were all 1-loss teams? No 2-loss teams. Did you notice that every one of those 4 teams had at least a loss? I mean, did you happen to notice that?
You called it. You called it.
It does reinforce, it validates that blind chipmunk and an acorn theory. It does kind of validate that.
Yeah, but one thing, hey, listen, luck is the residue of hard work. So there you go. I'm going to pat you on the back even more.
Well,
all right.
I asked
for one and only time. The one and only time. Hey, you were right. No, you called it. I said a 2-loss team when the season started would get in. It didn't happen. Came close, but it didn't happen. They got it in. Your thoughts? You surprised that the committee moved Georgia Military to 2 after they were 3 last week?
I thought it was the right thing to do. Now, you might recall last week I said, let me kind of hold back on the vitriol until we get to this poll, because I knew there were some different dynamics where this poll was concerned as compared to the prior, 11 or so. So I think it was right. I think the pollsters got it right. And I will say, even if Georgia Military had not been the number 2 team, this is an imperfect science, but I think they have done and tried to do as well as they possibly can, come up with a method by which to rank these teams in a fair and orderly process. And that would have been whether Georgia Military was 2 or not, but I think they deserve that spot.
The committee is never going to please all the people all the time. I thought they did an outstanding job. They really avoided the big locomotive a few weeks ago of multiple 2-loss teams. And who do you put in, a Navarro or an East Central if there was a 2-loss team? But you'll see on my poll, if I was a voter, I would have slotted Hutch at number 2. And matter of fact, there they are. And again, no disrespect to Georgia Military, none to Rob Manchester. I just think Hutch, for me, based on the eye test and strength of schedule, I think they get my vote as the number 2 team, Georgia Military 3, Northwest 4. Note this, Robert, on Northwest, how big was that Hail Mary against Holmes? How does that stand now? Northwest wins that game on a Hail Mary 50-yard touchdown pass. Remember, they lost their first game out of the year to an unranked Pearl River team who was never ranked in the top 20 or the top 15 in the NJCAA or the JUCO Rush poll. Robert, that turned out to be a huge play that propelled Northwest into the postseason.
Behind every successful team, and it was, and they are.
And you're right, and they get in there. So the 4 teams are set. I would put a Hutch number 2. You've got them at number 3. The committee voted as a group that Hutch is the number 3 team, and they'll have to go on the road to take on Rob Manchester and the Bulldogs. And that game is an afternoon. It's a matinee affair on December the 8th. Iowa Western on December 7th will entertain Northwest. And, man, again, Council Bluffs in December, going to be cold. But look, East Mississippi went in there last year and beat Hutchinson in a cold weather game. So I think I don't think that's going to affect Benji. And look, they've got a beast back there in the running game. I mean, a Demarion Petit, this guy is just tough as nails. So I don't think the weather plays a factor. I mean, of course, if there's a snowstorm or some sort, but the temperature is not going to stop Northwest. This is a tough football team. And it's Scott Strohmeyer, I'll tell you, Iowa Western has their work cut out for him in this matchup. And interesting, you look at Iowa Western at number 1, they're at home. They play the toughest schedule in the league, in my opinion, and their reward is the champ out of Mississippi, Northwest.
Yeah, and my top 6, almost identical to yours, with the exception, as you mentioned, Georgia Military. I've got 2, Hutch 3. This is starting to concern me a little bit, though, over the course of time now, 10 or 11 weeks of this show. Are you and I starting to think alike? That scares me a little bit, and it should scare the heck out of you.
Yeah, I know. It's stunning that we agree on something, but you look at we don't agree on the 2 and 3 slot, but most other things we do. And you watch this long enough, a lot of things just happen to fall into place. I'll tell you what fell into place is my players of the week. How about the SWJCFC, the conference championship game? Congratulations to Navarro. They win that football game 31-28. What a game, 14-13 at the half. Then Navarro opens up a lead. Tanner Jacobson and the Apaches run a fake punt that goes for a touchdown. They're right back in it. It finishes 31-28. And Navarro, their 6th SWJCFC conference championship as they get it done. And my first, I'm staying with 2 guys from Navarro. First, I'm going with my man Clay, the running back, 23 carries, 125 yards, and a touchdown. Also caught a couple of passes. He was instrumental in the Bulldogs' victory over the Apaches. And then I'm going with Tim Burns, 10 catches, 165 yards, and a touchdown. He was the go-to guy for quarterback Mason Shorb. He sat down with the JUCO Rush. And now joining us, Tim Burns, wide receiver for the Navarro Bulldogs, SWJC-FC champs. Tim, I know that's got to sound good.
That sounds amazing.
This is the 6th title for Navarro in the 29-year history since going to this conference title and playing football and getting it done. That game was close, 31-28, but 14-13 at the break. Then you extend the lead. Then Tyler runs that fake punt. Man, a lot of drama. What was racing through the mind of you and the players on the sidelines when all of a sudden it became a real tight game fourth quarter?
We had a level head. Like, we understood that we came out slow and made the game harder than what it was. So going into halftime, we just came together as one and just spoke. Like we just kept everybody head up, let everybody know like we still good. We still in this fight. The ball game's not over. We got 30 more minutes of football to play. Like, anything can happen at this point. We just gotta go back out there coming out to halftime and ball out.
Tim, you had a different quarterback at the start of the year, and then Mason Shorb comes in during, I think it was the blend game. Obviously, you and he clicked, but from your perspective, did it really matter who was at the helm?
Honestly, it did. I told both quarterbacks coming into the season, if y'all need help, I'm here to help. Whatever I can do, just make sure, give me the ball. I'm gonna help change the game, no matter how I need to do it.
You are from Miami, Florida. You're playing football in Corsicana. There's a little difference between Miami, Florida, and Corsicana, Texas. So how did you adjust to the different culture, and how has it affected you as a football player?
As far as adjusting to the culture, I just surrounded myself around people who either was from Texas or was from here, and they helped me, get along with it and see the different things to do out here, rather than me being from Miami. Well, there's a lot of things to do. And as far as adjusting, I did great with it, honestly.
Tim, as we talk with Tim Burns here on the JUCO Rush, Tim, your strength as a wide receiver, what's your best asset? Hands, speed, what is it?
I say speed. Speed kills. Get in and out of your breaks, in and out of your routes. Speed kills.
Who recruited you to Navarro?
Coach J.
And how did that process lead to you signing with the Bulldogs?
It was a long process, honestly, and they just stuck with it. They stuck with me, and I thank them so much for that. And they brought me in, and it's crazy because last year they brought me in as a DB, and I transitioned this year as a receiver. And Coach Patrick Hall, he developed me and helped me become what I am today. The
SWJCFC is well respected. How tough was it playing in that league? How did JUCO football mature you as a football player?
The conference itself was definitely tough. That's what I can say. Like, each game was not an easy game. Like, it wasn't I'm going to come in and make sure, we're going to come in and just manhandle this team. Like, each game was definitely a fight, and it was just the best team that won.
You look at the future for you. You guys are going to probably go to a bowl game.
Yes, sir.
Just your thoughts on that.
That's a blessing for all of us. That's more game, more things, more film, more team, more time to play with each other. Man, Coach Patrick makes practice hard for us. So no matter if it's a bowl game, a conference championship, a regular game, like, each and every week was practice. Make sure we come to practice. We start practice, the receiver corps started practice 30 minutes earlier. And we started 30 minutes earlier just to make sure we warmed up, we ready to go, everybody awaken, and we just, all as one as a unit.
You went up against Will Cornelson and Darian White last week.
Yes, sir.
In that secondary. What was that experience like playing against those two talented guys?
They're very talented. That's what I can't give them. Those are some very talented guys. But us as a receiver core, we just knew like coming into the game, no matter what, nobody can play with us. Honestly, that was our mindset throughout the whole year. We never seen a defense that could cover all of our guys, and we just knew like coming into this game, somebody, no matter who it was going to be able to have the opportunity and just shine.
What's next for you as we wrap up our conversation? After the bowl game, where are you headed next?
As of now, I won't display that now because I'm still weighing options. But I definitely have something to say soon.
Tim, it was great watching you play this year. Congratulations on the title. Stay healthy in the bowl game.
Yes, sir.
And we wish you nothing but the best, young man.
Thank you.
All right, for Robert Williamson, I'm Mike Fraser. This has been the JUCO Rush. Thanks to our special guest, Tim Burns of Navarro, the wide receiver, and also the chair of the selection committee, Jake Ripple. We'll see you next week, everybody. So long.
Welcome back. Second half action gets underway. A 30-9 Andrew College lead, and consider it 1 point early in the ball game as that's dropped in by Hall. That USC had a 7-2 lead. So the Indians went on a dry spell and the Tigers went on a tear, as that is dropped in by Hill. For USC, Salkehatchie, same five that started the game, start in the second half. Kevin Green, Gina Hall, Jatea Brown, Ella Teven, and Jalen Shaw. And on the other side of the floor, the same is true too. Got the same starting five. In Vernaya Baker, Jayla Hutchinson, Tiara Spells, Deshae Gay, and Zora Hill. Will the Georgia team win every game today? Not able to get it in the allotted five with Spells. Albany Tech winning the first game, 81-61. Andrew College with a big lead in this one, 32-11. And South Georgia Tech and Cape Fear coming up. Off the rim for Teeman, it is rebounded by Spells. Hutchinson working into the other end of the floor, trying to get it underneath the Hills. And a little too tall with the toss. That will go out of bounds. Teeman to put it in play. Well, taking a look at first half stats, your top scorer for the Tigers with 6 was Harper. The top rebounder with 5 was Snowden. You had 2 with 2 assists, Baker and Snowden. 1 with 3 steals, that was Snowden, who spent more time on the floor than anybody else, 10 minutes and 16 seconds. Foul issues, really not any foul problems You've got Baker with 2 and Snowden with 2. Everybody else with 1 or less. Meanwhile, for the Indians, top scorer Hall with 4. Top rebounder Hall with 7. She also had 3 steals and stayed out on the floor for 20 minutes. So a lot of tops for Hall. Now, foul issues are a problem for the Indians in that you've got limited personnel, so you need fewer fouls. In fact, they've got more fouls, 9 total. 2 each for Hall, Brown, and Tevid, 3 for Santos. Points off turnovers, 11 for Andrew College, 5 for USC Salkehatchie. For the bench, USC Salkehatchie got 9, Andrew College 14. 2 lead changes, and the largest lead was that 30-9 halftime advantage. Saved onto the floor, but into the hands of Brown, who makes the U-turn, goes to the other end of the floor, throws it away. Picked off by Snowden. Over to Hill. Uses the left hand to knock it down. Pull-up jumper good for Tevid. First points of the game for Tevid. Snowden bringing it down the floor. And the turnaround good for Ronnie Harper. Harper adding to that high point total for the Tigers of Andrew College. Into the paint, rejected, but there is a foul. It's a 2-shot foul that's got Brown at the stripe. And it is Hutchinson committed the personal. And Hutchinson coming out of the game. Into the game is Evans. Also Spells will leave. And then Brown will come in. Got a timeout on the floor in the 6:38 mark, with Andrew College up by 21. Just about all Wayne Jones County. Diving catch it, shortstop. Gross. The gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it. .638 to play, quarter number 3. Andrew College with a 21-point lead. Second game of 3 on the day after Thanksgiving. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Tell me you didn't eat too much. Well, that's okay. It's legal on Thanksgiving. Back to the action. Put in play to Evans. I'll make that to Brown. Got the underneath of the backboard, dribbled out of bounds. Green touched it last. And it is Evans who will put it in play. Off the glass for Snowden. Loose ball on the floor. Santos, who has checked into the game, comes out with it. Hands it over to Green. Hall back to Santos, stolen away by Evans. Taken right back by Santos. And then right back by Snowden. Off the glass for two. Hey, a reminder, subscribe to our YouTube channel. That's not mandatory, just a request. Love to have you as part of what we're hoping will eventually be, like by maybe Sunday, 5,400 subscribers. And yeah, when we get to 54, we're going to go for 55. I mean, the ultimate goal is 1 million, and I don't think we'll ever hit it. But hey, you got to have dreams, right? Dream big. And yes, I will concede that if we did ever hit it, we'd be going for 1,000,001. So I guess we're never happy. Even if we hit the mill. But you get access not only to games, but to interviews, to shows, and more. Hall off the rim for three. Hill with the board, kicks it over to Snowden. But you will have our gratitude. I don't know how much that's worth, but Harper fouled. And I think what they must do, since we have a dead ball inside 5, is that if there is a timeout prior to the 5-minute mark, that becomes the media timeout. Because we skipped what would have been the media timeout, the first dead ball after 5 in the second stanza, but we did have a timeout prior to the 5-minute mark. And the same here. I'm figuring this thing out. May not have it right, but I got a theory. Brown losing the dribble out of bounds. But it apparently went off Hill. And Hill is like, no, not really. And the umpire says, really. .427 to go in the third. .427 to play in the third. Well, when I thought I had it figured out where the media timeout was concerned, darn it, we take a timeout. So I'm not sure where we are at media timeout-wise. Enjoying the holiday music in the stands here. As we put it in play from the baseline, Green doing the honors. Running out of time to get it in, and she ran out of time. So it is Andrew Collins ball. Put in play by Evans to Snowden. Air ball on the jumper by Harper, retrieved by Green. And then taken right back by Evans. And Hall with a bump. And a bump is a foul. Non-shooting foul. It'll be put in play from here near the sideline. Bennett coming into the game. Mahason Thomas is in. Also Jemiah Evans checking into the game. Tashay Gay back in for Andrew College. And also Hutchinson re-entering the game. So 5 Fighting Tigers out and 5 Fighting Tigers in. Foul called on Brown. Thomas did not play in the first half. Playing now and scoring now. 1 of 2 at the line. Brown with the drive to the glass, got it to Bank. Hutchinson sending into the other side of the lane to Gay. Back it goes to Bennett. Fan down low to Evans, and Evans will walk. Out front and goes to Green, fed over to Tevitt. Brown putting up the 3 off the rim. Dive for the rebound, looked like a bowling ball, just knocking pins down. Bodies all over the place. And the foul is going to be called on Hall. Out to Hutchinson. Bennett off on the 3 try. But Hutchinson with a rebound. Gay on the floor with the dribble. Found the seam, exploits it, gets 2. Brown losing the dribble. Tevitt trying to get it back. You got a jump ball, and the possession arrow will take us to the Tiger end of the floor. Thomas to put it in play. Yeah, that'll be an offensive foul charge to Hutchinson. But if you can get around him, go through him. And she did and knocked down Tevitt, drawing the attention of the official. Into Hall, out to Green. Into the paint, leans in. Hutchinson with a board. Boy, that was a hard tumble. And that is Hall. Well, they are shorthanded to begin with. And not looking good at the moment for Hall. Let's hope this is not as serious as the pain would apparently indicate. We're back in 60. Well, Hall was literally carried by Coach off the floor and out of the gymnasium. USC Salkehatchie had 6 players, and now apparently 5. As Hall is out, we hope she comes back. But we will see. Santos into the corner, Shaw over to Brown, and Brown lost it out of bounds. In play to Bennett. Down low feed, and Hutchinson will get fouled and shoot. Hutchinson with 3 first half points in 7 minutes and 32 seconds of playing time. Put back effort by Evans. It is Gay who will come up with the 2. Over to Santos, and Santos will shoot. Now, Coach has stayed back in the locker room with Hall. Hall injured, and then Coach just picked her up, carried her into the locker room, and has stayed with Hall. The assistant coach currently manning the ship, so to speak. As Santos will hit her first. Goes 1 of 2. Rebounded by Hill over to Bennett. And there's an offensive charge to Bennett. Inside, a minute to play in the third. Brown taking it to the glass. Bennett to Hill. drives, banks, not there, rebounded by Green. Santos to Brown, shoots the 3 ball. Rebounded by Hill. And it's Tucker bringing it down the floor. Bennett forcing the 3 and knocking it down. So Bennett knew time was running out, launches the 3, drops it in at the buzzer. And Andrew College will take a 29-point lead into the 4th. Fourth quarter action gets underway in a 49-20 game. Last points in the 3rd scored by Bennett, and the first points in the 4th by Bennett as well. Fighting Tigers building a 31-point lead. Green leans in, the right-hander drops it in. Give it over to Evans. Top side to Spells. And it's Hill in the paint. Rebounded by Brown. There's the 3 ball. Shaw for 3. Bennett to Spells. Spells with a spin move, and she walked. Battle on the floor, Bennett and Santos. That'll be a jump ball. And the possession arrow has us going to the Fighting Tiger into the floor. Hill coming out of the game, checking into the contest for Andrew College is Gay. Spells to Bennett. As we get the final 8:15 underway. It is stolen away by Brown, and then Bennett committed a foul, trying to get it back. Green loses it. Hamrick comes up with it. And then Green tries to get it back, creates the jump ball. And it'll be USC Salkehatchie ball. Now they're going to charge a foul on Hamrick. So Hamrick in the battle to get it back commits the personal. Santos with an air ball and is picked up by Evans. Hands it over to Bennett. And you got a walk by Hamrick. Snowden coming into the game. Green to walk it down the floor. One more game to go. Then we will wrap up your Friday of basketball. And get ready for round ball tomorrow, starting at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. Nice feed to Teeman. Teeman with a miss. Santos says, I'll take that, rips it away from Spells. And then Spells will commit the foul. Santos to shoot. Well, let's see what else we've got coming up basketball-wise. Of course, you know, the rest of this week, Saturday and Sunday here. Next week, I think we've got basketball on Tuesday and Saturday. Tuesday, Marion Military and Coastal North, men's basketball. And then men's action on Saturday as well. Florida Gateway and Coastal North, University of Mobile's JV and Coastal South. Off the fingertips of Hamrick, able to get it back, Brown. Banks it off the glass. And there is a timeout on the floor asked for by Andrew College. 51-28 ball game, 6:28 to go. The Hangar in Americas. First day of the Pete Arrington Thanksgiving Classic. Second game of the first day, with one more to go. Cape Fear and South Georgia Tech coming up. 20 minutes after this one wraps. Hamrick able to retrieve a loose and errant pass, able to get it to Evans. Brown nearly took it away. Snowden able to keep it. Fires underneath. Off the glass, no good for Gay. That is Green with it on the other end of the floor and dumps down low. The only body there was wearing a yellow jersey. Evans handing it to Snowden, over to Gay, backs her way in. Shaw coming up with a loose ball, and there is a timeout asked for to save possession by USC Salkehatchie. 5:32 to go. Andrew Collins trying to wrap up the second Georgia win of the day.
Just about all Wayne Jones County. Diving catch at shortstop. Gross. Towards the gap. Diving catch in center field by Ben Aklinski. There is a shot towards deep short. Kraft's got it. Long throw over, and he got it.
.32 to go. USC Salkehatchie with the basketball, put in play to Green. None of the Georgia teams will play each other. They'll wait until conference play to do that. I mean, heck, they play each other in the conference 3 times each. So no need to meet a fourth outside of the conference. But everybody, every one of the Georgia teams will face the out-of-towners, the Southern Unions, the Cape Fears, the USC Salkehatchie. With the exception of South Georgia Tech. South Georgia Tech will not play USC Salkehatchie. And that is because of, again, little roster issue. Had a limited number of players and apparently losing one of those players after Saturday's play. So they would be down, they thought to 5. It looks like they're going to be down to 4 because we have not seen Coach nor Hall back onto the floor since she went to the hardwood with that injury late in the third. Struggling with the, this definitely makes you a little warmer on a cool night in Georgia. Of course, we're not supposed to have a camera on him, right? Nobody was supposed to see that except him, but we do, and y'all did. But he's prepared. He's ready now. Team is shooting inside 5 to go. One of 2, Teebit. Snowden bringing it down the floor. She's got a little bit of an issue she's not aware of. That wrap around her left leg or ankle has come loose. You can see it flopping around. Fed down to Gay. Gay with a miss. Hutchinson, the putback. Green's got it out front, works her way to the paint, off the window, Green. Good looking shot by Green as we get inside 4 to play. And that'll be thrown away. Trying to get it to Brown, threw it away. Brown to put it in play, does so to Tebet. Out of the corner comes Brown, puts up the 3, and she hits it. Trims it to a 19-point game. Top side to Hamrick. She'll put up the 3, trying to reciprocate. Rebounded by Gay. Back to the glass for 2. Brown sneaking around defenders, missed the shot. Rebounded by Brown. Nice ball movement for 2. That is Gay. Green bringing it down low, and Kay reached in, took it away, and Green says, I'll take that right back to the glass. And you got the offensive charge to Green. Here comes Bennett back into the game. Evans back in 2 for the Tigers. Snowden and Gay coming out. Put in play to Bennett. Bennett off the glass, rebounded by Green. Lobs over to Brown. Got into the corner, got into a mess. Brown tipped it, Bennett got it, back it goes to Brown. And then underneath, that is Evans. Santos coming out of the corner. Puts it up with the left hand. That was a good looking Santos shot. Bennett throws it away, trying to get it to Brown. Evans in, Hutchinson out, which might mean we have a couple of Evans on the floor. Jemiah Evans and Sandriana Evans. Santos for 2. That's 2 in a row for Santos. Bennett. Coast to coast for Bennett. As we get inside, a minute to play. Tebet at the stripe, less than a minute to go. And Georgia will go 2-0 in the Classic. Albany Tech winning the first game. Andrew College on its way to a victory in game number 2. There is another injured Indian on this end of the floor, as that is off the glass for 2. And man, they may not have a player to play in a game tomorrow. Hall already out, and now Teven is injured. And they were hurting for players, period. And that is Coach Aaron Hauser, who just returned from the locker room after bringing Hall there with the injury. And now Teven is down. Well, we will take an injury timeout with 38 seconds remaining. Well, another player carried to the sidelines. And Teven, well, at least giving the thumbs up to, I think, a parent maybe. So maybe she will be able to return, but at the moment, USC Salkehatchie having to play with 4. And I don't know if you can legally start a game. You can certainly finish it, but I don't think you can start it with 4. You've got to have 5 to begin a game, so it is obviously significant. Teven's return, but it appears as though Hall will not. Santos getting fouled. Well, and as a matter of fact, I might see Hall. I don't know if that's who I see over in the hallway on crutches. So that would certainly indicate Hall, if that's who that is, would indicate Hall is not available again this weekend. And now it is dependent upon Teven. As we put the finishing touches on this one, 63-40 your final score. Andrew College knocking off an already shorthanded USC Salkehatchie. And they are even a little more shorthanded. As your scoreboard goes back to goose eggs, that's because we are integrated into the scoreboard on the other side of the floor. So whatever it has on it, we have on it, and they've wrapped up this game and are getting ready for the next. So we will say so long for the Andrew College USC Salkehatchie viewers. For those waiting for Cape Fear and South Georgia Tech, it is 20 minutes from now. See you then. For all the folks with South Georgia Tech and JockJive, I'm Robert Williamson. So long, everybody.